Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina Do Hard here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 1 of season 2 of What If Uraraka Was an Electromaster. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. Do mine next, Kirishima exclaimed, handing his phone over. Mine too, please, Kendo added, trying to hand over hers as well. Uraraka 10,032 stuttered as she didn't know if she could replicate it again. So much doubt clouded her judgment that she looked back to Momo, who smiled and nodded in approval. The little one picked up the boy's phone and concentrated, blowing her electricity evenly to charge it just like she had done prior for her sisters. In a few seconds, it had gone from 66% to full charge. Whoa, nice one! The spiky red-haired boy let out as he picked his now powered-up phone from her hand.
Hey!
The chestnut-colored haired cutie shouted.
It's rude to do that before handing me the payment, so please give it back.
She began turning red out of embarrassment. Oh, right, my bad. Edgero responded and activated his quirk for her to witness once more, just that this time it would be in detail. The clone's eyes shined as she inspected every inch of visible skin that the hardened teen had exposed.
His skin turned into a wall. It's hard all over and also very sharp.
10,032 exclaimed, relaying it to the Uraraka network, making some react in awe while others were bothered by being called for such useless new info.
Payment received. Thanks.
A thumbs up was given and Kirishima gave one back. Suddenly, a big hand got between them. It was Kendo's as she made her forgotten presence known again. I'm paying up front, so change mine too.
Huge hand! Kendo's huge hand quirk!
Once more, the excited sister exclaimed within the network. And just like before, some joined up in her sentiment while others just remained without reaction. Seconds later, Class 1B's big sister had her phone charged, and as an added gift, she hugged the phone charging girl tightly.
Hugs are nice.
10,032 was dazed by the warm embrace. It was one of her favorites. Suddenly, the main door of the dorm opened up, rather hard too, and Ochaco entered.
Finally done with Aizawa's exercise. Seriously, why does it have to be such a drag?
Railgun commented loudly for all to hear, and that's when she saw her little sister running to meet her.
Big sis!
Uraraka caught 10,032 and spun her around like always before setting her down. She seemed to be quite energetic today.
I'm back, Jen.
Ochaco added with a smile.
I'm so happy that you are. You weren't here when I woke up, and that worried me.
Jen exclaimed. She couldn't contain herself at the moment.
Yeah, sorry about that. Aizawa-sensei needed me for something, and he decided to get me super early. But now I'm here, so all is fine.
The older sister explained in slight detail. She really couldn't bother explaining her dull day.
Yep, let's get going. I need to show you something I learned.
Jen grabbed her sister's hand, but as she tried pulling it, she didn't move an inch. 10,032 had been grabbed by both shoulders in an instant. Ochaco had entered big sister mode.
Did you put on your contact lens in the drops after waking up? I did.
Her response was in total embarrassment. Everyone was looking at them. Ochaco had once more embarrassed her younger sister by treating her like a little kid in front of everyone.
Good! How about the doctor? Did you go to the appointment?
Was the next question.
Yeah, with Momo.
Chen admitted, looking back to Yaoyorozu right after. Railgun smiled and petted her little sister before going to meet the others.
Thanks for covering for me again, Momo. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Jin-sani is always an exemplary girl that behaves perfectly. I wouldn't mind taking care of her in the future if the need arises. Momo replied genuinely. She enjoyed spending time with the curious girl. Meanwhile, as the conversation with them continued, another person arrived through the door.
Izuku!
Everyone else in the dorm looked back, seeing their green-haired classmate being hugged by the younger Uraraka. Once more, this being a casual occurrence as he visited pretty often. How's it going, Jin-sani? Midori asked while mimicking the girl's hug.
Really good! The doctor told me that there's no need for my scheduled appointment, so I'm in top shape now.
With 2 peace signs, Jen concluded her first of many announcements. That's great! I told you that it would turn out okay, Izuku said and gave her a high five.
I shouldn't have doubted you, but look, I have something to show you.
The enthusiastic girl exclaimed. She was ready to show off her new skill to her friend. You do? Is it something that will blow my mind? Deku asked.
Yep, give me your phone.
With her hands, she motioned for him to hand it over. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his new phone. His last one had been fried by Ochaco's outburst at the bridge, so he was forced to get a new one to replace it.
What are you doing, Jen?
The older Uraraka, who had gotten behind them in the blink of an eye, questioned.
I'm gonna charge his phone!
With sparkling eyes, 10,032 answered.
You're going to what? When did you learn to do that? Yesterday at the get-together. Tenki taught me.
The younger one exclaimed loudly. The funny blonde had helped her learn this skill.
I see. You're so cute!
Ochaco couldn't contain herself, so she caressed Jinsani's hair. This little sister had become so adorable that head pats would soon become mandatory.
Not in front of Izuku.
The now tomato girl muttered, looking down at the floor as she was unable to face Izuku like this.
There. Leave everything to Big Sister. I'll charge Deku's phone in a flash.
Nailgun was super confident. She meant it. Without further notice, she grabbed Broccoli's phone and tried charging it, a technique that she had attempted many times years ago. But within 5 seconds, the phone exploded in her hand. It had been overcharged to the extreme, and this caused it to blow up and puff out smoke. It was true that Ochaco had attempted this many times before, but she never succeeded. She couldn't control her output to such a small degree, and even less keep it up consistently. So with the now destroyed phone, she just stood there, staring down at it, not believing that this had happened again. Jen immediately covered her mouth and looked away. She couldn't let her big sister see that she had broken into laughter. But it was too late. Ochaco Uraraka had seen it, and now defeated, the phone corpse dropped to the floor. Looking at Deku, she saw that he was also destroyed inside. He was not ready to see his hard-earned money being burned to cinders.
Let's get going, Deku. I'll buy you a new one.
In her still defeated mode, Nailgun grabbed the boy's arm and took him outside the dorm. A bit later in the day, Jinsani was in her room with Dog, playing with the little black kitten to her heart's content. This stopped momentarily as Shota Aizawa arrived at her door.
Eraserhead!
She shouted upon seeing him.
There's no need to call me by my hero name. Call me Shota, Aizawa, or Sensei.
Closing the door right after saying that.
Sorry, Sensei. I couldn't help myself. You're just so cool!
Once more, her eyes had begun to shine, and a bit of visible electricity was now coursing through her.
If you say so,
the teacher said and then continued.
So I'm here to confirm your last request. Are you certain that you want it to happen?
Without hesitation, the girl stood up and jumped to meet the sleepless hero.
Of course I am! As I stated in my letter to Principal Nezu, I want to join Class 1A to study alongside my friends and my big sister. I'm well aware that I would need to go through many trials, but if that's what it takes, I'm more than ready to face them. I want to be a hero just like you or All Might or even Izuku.
Jen answered Aizawa's question with determination. She truly wanted to join them to become a hero someday too.
I'll inform him of your interest in joining. Just know that I can't guarantee that you will make it in. But in the meantime, start thinking of a design for a hero suit alongside an appropriate hero name. That's your assignment for now until future notice.
Shota told her and went over to pet Dog, who was still on the bed.
Understood. But may I make another request?
The teen then asked.
Another one so soon? Go ahead. I'll hear you out.
The UA Sports Festival will be held tomorrow, and everyone will be there to participate. Would there be a chance for me also to be there to participate alongside them?
Jen had mustered her courage to ask this, and she was left embarrassed in front of him. She had even stuttered, making her feel worse about it all. He looked back at her at the moment, and she was a bit scared by the sudden motion of his combined with those creepy bloodshot eyes.
Only UA High students can be a part of this event,
he responded, which left Jinsani disappointed. But he continued. More was left to be said.
Still, if you were to figure out a way to get yourself in there without causing commotion, then I wouldn't mind batting an eye.
Eraserhead concluded and walked off the room. Tears fell down her cheeks after processing this. She was so happy. All that she needed to do was convince her big sister, and she would be able to participate. Cleaning her eye, she felt the right one stinging just a tad. If Jen wanted her eye to fully recover, she couldn't manage to cry like this. The frog-faced doctor had warned her to keep tears to a minimum after all.
That's right. I need to get better first before thinking of doing reckless things like Big Sister. I need to learn a bunch of stuff too. Just like researching all my friends' quirks and also skills like charging phones. And that's why we are sponsored by Skillshare. It provides tons of in-depth videos that can teach you whatever you want. So in theory, they're bound to help you with your creative endeavors. You are watching this video, correct? Would you like to make one like it? What about writing scripts or even editing audio? Believe it or not, Skillshare has you covered in those too. With the link we provide, you can get a 14-day free trial, a total steal. So no more waiting from you hear? Click it to get those 2 weeks of classes absolutely free.
But before the girl could conclude the sponsor, her older sister arrived through the door.
I'm back!
Ochaco announced.
Well, gotta go now. Can't have sis finding out just yet. The link is in the description below.
Jinsani added in a whisper before giving her older sister a welcoming hug. The grand day had arrived and the UA Sports Festival commenced. It wasn't a great start as Bakugo gave his speech, pissing most people off, and then the first event was announced. An obstacle race. It was a long one too until they arrived back at the stadium. My. Everyone's beaming with youth and bustling about. Still, in that regard, I should just manipulate the players and get to the top without breaking a sweat easily. Shokoho's master plan was beginning to take shape. Soon she would conquer the festival and take the gold medal that she rightfully deserved. It soon came crashing down, though, as midnight approached her and took away the exceptional bags she always had hanging.
It's forbidden to use support items that weren't made by their user, so I'll be taking this off your hands for the time being,
Midnight announced to the blonde teenager and took off with it, leaving Misaki staring to the void of shattered dreams.
But my controllers! My medal!
Regrettably, Jinsani couldn't do much. Before she could ask Ochaco about something, she had disappeared from view, and by the time she was located, she was already running in the race, leaving the younger sister there waiting with the crowd. Minutes later, Izuku came in first, while Railgun, Bakugo, and Todoroki came right after. Jen was super proud of her sister for controlling herself. It must have been hard not to knock everyone away with her power. But if she had done this, she would have ended up disqualified instantly. Still, it was even more impressive to see that Izuku had made it first. That was a genuine surprise, just like that night when he saved her from the decaying beast. Momo had also made it in 10th place, while Kendo had made it into the top 25. 10,032 could only stare at how incredible her friends were. Still, she couldn't get distracted. Taking out her phone, she called Ochaco and told her to come to meet her before the next round began.
What's got you so fired up, sis?
Railgun asked.
I want to participate.
Jinsani shouted with a pouty expression now adorning her face.
Really? You want to go down there and play games? Uh-huh. It looks like fun.
She moved her head up and down, hoping she would be given permission. Ochaco first looked around and seeing that nobody was looking at them, grabbed her sister's hand and took her into the girls' restroom.
We need to be quick, but it can work. Let's swap clothes. Wait, switch clothes?
In utter confusion, poor little Jen was as her sister pulled her closer.
Exactly that. You'll be taking my place there. You'll be me while I'll be you.
Minutes later, Jen was now in Ochaco's sports uniform. It fit perfectly and felt quite comfortable to move around with. On the other hand, Railgun wasn't thrilled with her new clothes. This wasn't her style.
It's just for a bit, so calm down. It's for Jinsani, so it's worth it.
She told herself over and over, trying to justify wearing such cutesy clothes that she would usually never wear, even in death.
So do I just act like you down there and roar at everyone approaching me? Do I scream at them to listen to me?
10,032 asked as she wasn't sure how to mimic her older sister's attitude when interacting with strangers.
Wait, do I act like that? There's no way that I act like a wild animal, right? She's just joking around.
Sweat was starting to appear on the girl's forehead. Was this really how her sister saw her when talking to others?
No need. Just be yourself and have fun out there. I'll be cheering for you.
Uraraka exclaimed with all her heart.
Thanks. I'll do my best to make you proud.
With a hug, Jin departed to join the students in the center of the stadium. Soon they would announce the second event. With a sigh, Ochaco began to walk to the stands, but a very loud continuous panting attracted her attention. And when she looked back, she saw the Class 1C Queen barely able to stumble towards the wall by the restroom.
Shokuho!
Electromaster loudly exclaimed. Misaki looked as if she had attempted a marathon.
Is that you, Railgun? Why are you wearing such a colorful wardrobe?
Mental Out was about to collapse any second now. Her stamina had reached never-before-seen low levels, and if anything, she was going plus ultra at the moment.
Yeah, it's me. My little sister wanted to play, so we switched her clothing.
Ochaco explained briefly and considered getting the dried-up bimbo a bottle of water before she passed on to the next world.
How nice of you. Never thought that you would go so far to spoil her.
Shokuho now rested her back on the wall and soon fell on her butt.
Well, that's what an older sister does. But let's leave that for later so you can tell me what happened for you to end up in this pathetic state.
The hot-tempered girl was now back with some sparking curiosity. After chugging 2 water bottles, Misaki explained her case, which only made Ochaco look down at her with pity.
You're choking, right? Because that sounds rather pathetic even for you.
Silence! That event almost took me off this realm. Do you realize how much running I had to endure?
The starry-eyed girl shouted, trying her best to save some of her remaining dignity.
You're just out of shape. Extremely out of shape. If I were to be fair, never seen you taking PE classes either, so your fat index must be quite high.
Don't you dare call me that, or I'll blow that round head of yours up. I'm just packing up a lot of quirk energy across this glorious body of mine.
Oh, so that means that those bountiful tits are just containers. Be careful, Choco. If you use up too much energy, you might end up being all flabby again.
Uraraka mocked her rival, using that weird tone of hers as well to rub some salt on that gaping wound.
They aren't that big!
Now entirely red, Misaki screamed.
They're easily twice the size of mine, so they're huge!
Ochaco responded with a smirk. It was obvious that she would win this argument. By now, Jinsani had finally made it to the others, and she could sigh in relief. She wasn't late.
What are you doing here, Jinsani?
Yaoyorozu immediately noticed and pointed out. Shh! The little girl cried out, pushing the class president so she would be quieter.
My apologies. I wasn't expecting you to be here in place of your sister, so my reaction was so over the top.
Was it that obvious?
Jin asked in a whisper. She didn't want everyone else to find out, too.
Of course. The aura you give out is quite pleasant when compared to your sister's. And well, your body language is completely different. She moves confidently as if she would eat anyone whole. Meanwhile, you're so calm and shy, almost disappearing amongst the crowd.
As a teacher, Momo explained it to the little one, grabbing her attention and making her learn something new.
I see. Please don't tell anyone. I don't want to get my big sister in trouble.
Jinsani begged, hoping that Momo would understand. Yaoyorozu quickly pulled her in and whispered something into her ear.
My lips are sealed,
she said, and patted the adorable girl before letting her go. Now a bit flustered, 10,032 shook her face. She needed to get her emotions in check. To do her best, she had to reach the correct state of mind.
Is that you, Jen?
The young Electromaster heard from behind. It had been Izuku Midoriya this time.
Not again.
She cried on the inside. This couldn't be happening again. As if a miracle happened, the next event was revealed for the students to hear. Balloon Hunter would be the next game in store for the UA kids. In it, 2 to 5 students would team up to try taking out the balloons on top of the other students' heads. To destroy these balloons, the students would have to use unique softballs located in various areas around the soon-to-transform environment. Using quirks to destroy these balloons weren't allowed, and whoever did would find themselves disqualified. Every balloon destroyed would give the team a single point in most cases, but if you were to destroy the balloons from any of the top 3 students from the obstacle course, then the team would receive either 10, 7, or 5 points respectively. The 4 teams with the most accumulated teams within the 5-minute time limit would move on to the final event. Jinsani teamed up with Izuku, Momo, and Kendo. These were her closest friends, meaning they could win together. The other team took note of their team almost immediately. Taking out this team would give them 19 points, and this alone could guarantee their ticket to the next round, so all eyes went to Jen's team.
Damn, this is gonna be hard for her. Still, I believe that you can pull through, Jen! You can do it!
Even as a spectator, Ochaco was cheering her sister on. It might have been from very far away within her mind, but the thought was all that counted. The event started with a bang as the place transformed into a small city with many alleyways. All the students quickly rushed to take cover, some of them finding some softballs on the way. The assault on Team Railgun commenced relatively early as many groups began throwing softballs in waves. Kendo enlarged her hands and covered her friends the best she could, but with an unexpected swift strike, Ida eliminated her.
Kendo!
10,032 screamed in desperation. Seeing her friend eliminated in such a way made her start having some of her inherited memories resurface.
I leave the rest to you guys,
the orange-haired girl said dramatically as she sat down. The little sister was now beginning to hyperventilate, and it only worsened as she saw Momo pushing her out of the way to save her from getting eliminated by a sneak attack. Sadly, this made it so Yaoyorozu was the one getting her balloon popped, and just like that, half of Team Railgun had been eliminated.
Momo, you...
Chen cried out and tried to reach out to her friend, but she moved her head from side to side and then shouted an order.
You need to get out of here, Uraraka! Win for us!
The taller girl collapsed and accepted her elimination. All her hopes rested on her remaining teammates.
Let's go!
Izuku shouted and grabbed her hand. Those two ran out of the alleyway and ended at a dead end. Their final stand would begin now. Izuku took out a few students who got close, but he was forced to take cover behind a dumpster, only granting the team its first 4 points. Uraraka 10,032 was holding her head in the corner, The traumatic experiences from all those sisters that came before her were beginning to eat her whole, and she was too scared to act. Failure meant death. Because of her, Momo and Kendo had been eliminated, and soon she would be too. Her big sister trusted her to win, yet this was her best? It couldn't be. It's okay, Uraraka. It's okay, just look at me. Izuku had gotten in front of her and was now trying to comfort her. The girl slowly did as he said, and her eyes told the entire story. She wasn't ready for this yet. The alleyways and the so-called eliminations only reminded her of all those alleyways where she experienced death. So cold and terrifying to remember as it occurred well over 10,000 times. This is not an experiment, Jen. It's a game. Nobody's in danger and nobody will die. I promise you that. So please get up so we can beat them. We can still win this. And with a quick grab, he helped her get up to her feet. And they ran down the same hallway in the hopes of finding more students to gain points. Midoriya was able to eliminate 2 more students, and once he reached his limit, he was saved by the sister on his side. 10,032 was now in the game. With her first elimination, she felt a little more confident, but she was still shaken by what she had felt before. Die! With an explosive entrance, Bakugo made his debut and aimed at the little sister, who he first thought to be Ochaco. But upon seeing the girl flinch, he realized that it couldn't be her.
What the hell? Did she seriously send her baby sister to cover her? Does she still think that she's that much better than me?
Now fuming, he switched his strategy from popping her balloon to blowing her out of the way. But Izuku negated the explosion and punched him right in the face. You're facing me now, Call-chan! Deku shouted.
Damn nerd! That negating bullshit pisses me off! But I don't have time to play around with you now!
Unexpectedly, the blonde boy shot out an array of explosions upwards, which confused Team Railgun. But soon they realized his plan. Their location was now known to everyone else, so they would be surrounded. It didn't take long for the rest of Team Bakugo to arrive, and Izuku sacrificed himself to save little Jinsani from the rain of softballs that rained upon them. His body had become a shield, and this guaranteed his elimination as his balloon popped. Don't let fear control you. Remember that you have what it takes to face them. All you need to do is believe in yourself, Midoriya told her as he collapsed away from her. He had been eliminated, so he wouldn't be able to protect her anymore.
But
Even now, she still doubted. But soon she remembered that her friends left everything up to her. They entrusted her with everything and even sacrificed themselves to help her get this far. At that moment, she finally realized it.
You're right. I shouldn't be scared anymore. Instead, I should be doing my part.
New confidence had surfaced from within Jinsani. It took her a while, but she finally realized that there was no point in holding back anymore. She could just be herself. A wave of electricity flowed through the interconnected alleyways, stunning everyone momentarily. For the first time, Uraraka 10,032 would be using her quirk to fight. Todoroki came first, and with his ice, he tried to close the distance, but with an electric stomp, his sister destroyed some of it and made him lose balance, dodging his now falling strike and popping his blue balloon out of the game. A bunch of students she didn't know attacked her in unison, trying to push her down to eliminate her, but with other ease she dodged every single one of their moves. They were so slow.
I fought over 10,000 battles with an opponent where a single touch meant losing your life, so catching me will not be easy,
she exclaimed to them, popping out 7 more balloons. She was on a roll. Soon she came face to face with Ida, and with a quick distraction, she used the metal pipes to slow him down and eliminate him.
That was for Kendo!
The young Electromaster announced as she dodged Bakugo's softball.
Why are you the one here? I wanted to face her sister,
Katsuki shouted.
Too bad. You're facing me now, jerk, so you better not hesitate, because otherwise I'll take you out.
In a way, she sounded more like Ochaco saying that. She was ready to pounce on the firecracker.
Tough shit coming from a weakling like you. Do your fucking worst, round face.
That overconfidence became his downfall, as his right hook was dodged and a well-placed electric kick sent him to the floor.
You remind me of someone I despise, you know. Your mannerisms are so similar that it disgusts me. So get back up. I'm not done with you yet, Mr. All Bark But No Bite.
Enraged, he tried to land a hit, but no matter how hard he tried, she dodged every attack with total disinterest in her eyes. Once more, he was sent to the floor, and he was swiftly eliminated as she threw her softball at his red balloon.
Target eliminated,
Jen said with a chuckle, and then ran off to take out more students in the minute that she had left.
Fucking bitch!
Bakugo screamed and began blowing up the wall beside him. Today, he had been defeated by Nailgun's little sister. By the moment the time limit was reached, Team Railgun had scored 28 points, taking first place with an overwhelming victory. Team Bakugo was second, and Team Todoroki was third. Fourth place was a team known as Team Monoma that Jinsani didn't recognize, but they would be going to the finals as well. And so, Jen celebrated her victory with her team, and Ochaco smiled from afar. She knew that her little sister could do it. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. If you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of a namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Now, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fills your interest by joining the crewman Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. And if you want more content from me, check out my Twitch at TrinaDoHeart, as well as my Twitter and YouTube. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye!